So good morning. My name is Al Cowan, and Clint Sayers is here with me. Both of us are past presidents of the Eanes Independent School District Board of Trustees. Clint and I have joined together with other Eanes residents to oppose the EISD $89 million bond proposal. Our group has formed a political action committee, Citizens for Academic Excellence in Eanes, or CAEE. And because Clint has had some surgery yesterday, he's asked me to read our prepared statement, but both of us will be happy to take questions as we go at the end. So far, the voters have only heard the district side of the story, and we believe voters need to hear the other side of the story to be fully informed. CAEE intends to provide that information. CAEE supports the preservation of the exemplary education programs for which the Eanes School District has become known. This bond puts those programs at risk by building new, unneeded elementary school and other facilities that will increase the district's operating costs, add to the existing annual budgeted deficit of over $4.4 million, double the district's debt, and ultimately drain money from academic programs and the classroom. It's a risk we don't need to take, and we can avoid by voting no on these bonds. The district plan is to build a new unneeded elementary school in the western part of the district and to close and shutter a perfectly good, exemplary rated school while leaving two other elementary schools, Eanes Elementary and Cedar Creek Elementary, overcrowded. Even the district acknowledges that when the dust settles, EISD will again have the same number of 6 elementary schools that we have today, but we will have spent millions to get to the same place. The total student enrollment growth in the district is driven by the admission of out-of-district transfer students who pay nothing to attend our schools or repayment for these bonds. They cost us operating expenses and deny opportunities for our resident students, such as being included in the top 10% of their class for college admission. In short, transfer students get a free ride on the backs of Eanes taxpayers, they crowd our classrooms, and they squeeze our students out of opportunities. In addition, the bond is ambiguous in terms of costs and what exactly will be spent on. For example, the new elementary school costs include $1.3 million for site development for a site that hasn't even been determined. Is that half the amount necessary or twice the amount necessary? No one knows. It includes $23 million in contingencies and escalation that will result in either bloated payments to contractors or a slush fund to permit the district to spend money on projects never disclosed to the voters. Voters deserve more than a request for a blank check from administrators. Simply put, the bond is a waste of our tax dollars and potentially harms our children. The trustees and superintendent have consistently provided confusing to misleading to blatantly false information to the public about this bond. We teach our children to tell the truth and to act honorably. Shouldn't we expect the same from our elected trustees and superintendent? A couple examples. Board President Rob Hargett and Superintendent Dr. Nola Wellman have represented to the voters that students who attend Valley View Elementary and reside in the western part of the district suffer the hardship of an inordinately long bus ride to school. This is simply not true. Even the Eanes website describes Valley View Elementary as an exemplary rated school at a, quote, convenient Westlake location off Loop 360. The attached analysis of the EISD bus route shows that on average, Valley View Elementary students spend an average of 43 minutes on a bus, with the longest ride being 52 minutes and the earliest pickup time at 6:50 a.m. By comparison, Eanes Elementary students spend an average of 39 minutes, only 3 minutes less, with the longest ride being 58 minutes, 6 minutes longer than the longest Valley View ride, and the earliest pickup time at 6:42, 8 minutes earlier than the earliest Valley View time. As justification for building new facilities for fine arts at our middle school, Dr. Wellman has repeatedly said that, quote, the middle school fine arts have just exploded, quote. Again, this is simply false. Based upon EISD data received in response to the request under the Texas Public Information Act, middle school fine arts enrollment has tracked total student enrollment almost exactly. There is no explosion. Dr. Willman has asserted that she expects limited to no access to Eanes Elementary during Bee Cave Road widening in 2015-16. Again, this is simply not true. TxDOT is not permitted to deny access to property during construction and works with property owners to minimize the disruption during construction. In summary, we think it boils down to a very simple question for voters. Why would you increase your taxes, which are already the highest in Central Texas, to build new unneeded facilities whose operating costs will force cuts in and put our academic programs at risk? Given the facts, we think voters will vote no, and we urge them to do so starting on April 28th. We've got additional information on our website, www.eanesbond.org. It's early in its development, so check back frequently for more information. And that's our statement, and we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Is the dollar amount what bothers you, or do you just feel like the district doesn't need any more money?
I think basically it's both. The district doesn't need more facilities. In fact, they're saying that. We've got 9 schools today. We'll end up with 9 schools after this bond and for the foreseeable future. So A, we think it's unneeded, but also the dollar amount does bother us because it's very vague in terms of how the numbers were arrived at, and there are, as we said, $20+ million of contingencies and soft costs and almost $4 million of escalation. So we really think that if the district has a specific need, they should quantify that need specifically so voters can make a determination of where their money's going and be sure that it's fairly and accurately priced.
So it's kind of the idea that a lot of this money is just vaguely
Exactly.
applied.
As we said, they're kind of asking for a blank check, and we think more specifics are the voters should be entitled to that, and it's fair for voters to know that, here's a school, this is what it's going to cost, and so on and so forth. Right now, as I said, they got a bucket of money in there for site development for a site that no one knows where it's going to be. So is that an accurate number of site development? So we think that pervades the entire package. Katie?
Yeah, and so obviously it's too late for a remedy now. This is going on the May ballot. Y'all are saying vote now. But if would y'all support a smaller bond, and what would they have to do for y'all to support the bond?
Good question. I don't think anybody in our group thinks we're through spending money on Eanes schools. And as we stated, one of our statements in our mission is we want to protect our exemplary educational programs. So to answer your question, I think yes, a smaller bond would be more acceptable. It would have to have more specifics about the spending. And I think we really need to address the transfer student question and determine whether that policy is valid. Should Eanes taxpayers be spending money on non-Eanes students who compete with our students for opportunity in our schools?
Were you active in opposing these bonds before they were put on the ballot finally?
Yes, I spoke at the board meeting where the bond was actually called and urged the board not to call for the bond because for many of the reasons that I've stated today. Clint and I both attended several of the symposia and information sessions that were conducted by the district as this was developed. But that was really a process of getting educated, and until they call the bond, it's very difficult to know exactly what they would do. So I think that in answer to your question, yes, we spoke out at the critical time when they were about to take the vote, and that's the decision they made. And we think that this dialogue and discussion, a robust discussion about this, is healthy for our community.